Distinguished panel, good morning. My name is David Paul. I'm a concerned citizen. I'm concerned about my city. I'm concerned about my state. And I'm concerned about my country. One of the ways we've discussed here at City Hall the process of mood altering and feeling better, being optimistic. I play a computer game to maintain my sanity called Civilization, build an empire that'll stand the test of time. And you get to start in 4000 BC, and you have to coordinate your resources to develop technology or weapons of war. And when you get to the social advance of civil service, Leonard Nimoy comes in and gives a little quote. He says, "The bureaucracy is expanding to serve the needs of the expanding bureaucracy." And I think that's where we're at here. Now, Doctor, you mentioned about worst case scenario. This is my concern. I want you guys to tell me, you're the legislatures, if you actually think that we're going to pull this out of the fire, if we're actually going to fix anything. And Doctor, you mentioned having a contingency plan, planning for the worst. That's what I want to know. If you can't tell me that you're going to fix this, tell me you have a plan when it all goes into the basket, that we have something to do, and we don't have to start from there and wonder then. You see, if you study the dissolution of the Soviet Union, and it's a little different because they didn't have a lot of private enterprise, but when the civil servants stopped getting paid, that's when it went downhill. The TARP money, the stimulus funds, they're paying for a lot of the county state services. When that money goes away, when the civil servants get laid off, what happens? Now, this is what I'm proposing, and I said this here before at Council. I want the legislatures to understand our pain. And how can you do that if you just take your salaries, increase your staff? Why don't you cut your pay? Why don't you cut it in half? Why don't you cut your staffs in half? And that way we won't have so much bureaucracy getting in the way of business. I mean, I just want to know if there's a plan for when this goes into the tank. Can anybody tell me if you have one?
Really, what we're asking for is specific ideas of the regulatory environment that are affecting your business and your ability to hire people. That's the intent of what we're wanting to do in order to help resolve and bring that to the debate in the legislature.
And then how will that fix anything when you have that information?
Well, because that's exactly what we will then bring to the debate as we go to California. Look, we're not in charge up there.
Well, I want to talk to the guy that's in charge. Who's in charge?
Well, they don't hold these hearings. So. Let me just tell you, we're not in charge, and so what we have to do is hear your stories about how it is that your jobs...
But Senator, you can understand that's not very reassuring to me for you to say that you're not in charge. What are you in charge of? What can you help me with? What can you fix? Let me know that.
Okay, we are having these hearings in order for us to have the specific issues so that when we go back to Sacramento and we have these debates with our friends up there who are ongoing regulating the state out of business, that we can talk about real people, real Californians with real issues. If that doesn't work, then we go to the people with an initiative process in order to engage them, in order to get the issues changed. That's what the process is. Now, I mean, that's why we're here. I'm really anxious to hear what is the specific regulatory issue that you confront that keeps you from hiring and being a part of a growing economy.
All right, but I think what we want here is action and not a lot of discussion because we don't have time for the discussion.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, you made the point. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other